27. An-Naml, the ant. This chapter was revealed in the middle Makkan period, either in the 5th or 6th year of the mission of the Prophet ﷺ. It charts part of the history of human spirituality by reference to 5 prophets: Moses, Solomon, David, Salih, and Lot. The opening verses describe the nature of divine revelation as being guidance and good news. The proof of this proposition, the story of Moses and how he received divine revelation on Mount Sinai. The story of Solomon, a prophet and king who successfully combined the 2 roles, worldly wealth and spiritual devotion, sets the scene for understanding divine mysteries. God gave him gifts, including the ability to communicate with various creatures, jinn, birds, and even insects like the ant. See verses 17 to 19. The stories of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba abound with symbolism and subtly weave together the realities of worldly life and spiritual realities. In some ways, it represents the story of the human soul's spiritual awakening and eventual realization of moral and spiritual truths. The story of the hoopoe bird and the transportation of the mighty throne of the Queen of Sheba thousands of miles in the twinkling of an eye express great truths. There is a certain spiritual truth underlying each one of them. The many-sided, many-layered truths which the Quran invariably brings out, sometimes explicitly, sometimes elliptically, often allegorically, but always with a definite bearing on some of the hidden depths and conflicts within our own human psyche. When the hoopoe told Solomon about the Queen of Sheba, Solomon dispatched a letter inviting her to become a believer and give up her idolatry. The queen, after consulting her advisors, decided to play it safe and to pacify Solomon, sent him precious gifts and waited for her envoys to bring news about him. Solomon refused to accept her gifts, which convinced her that this was no king in pursuit of worldly gains. She traveled from Yemen to Jerusalem. Solomon, in the meantime, decided to receive her. Who can bring me her throne before they come to me in submission? Verse 38. One of his knowledgeable followers was able to bring it in the blink of an eye. The transportation of the queen's throne from Yemen to his palace in Jerusalem hints at the ephemeral, fleeting nature of material power. The throne is a metonym for power and sovereignty. It appears that Solomon intends to confront his guest with an image of her worldly power, and thus to convince her that her throne is as nothing when compared with the awesome almightiness of God. In the story of the hoopoe, the Quran teaches a powerful lesson. The lowliest being can sometimes have knowledge of things that even experts may lack. This is a clear reminder, counteracting arrogance and self-deceit. Similarly, the story of the Queen of Sheba entering the Hall of Solomon is a symbol of a woman confronting something new. She is full of fear and does not wish to abandon the realm of what she finds familiar, comforting, and secure in favor of venturing into the unknown. Yet the Queen of Sheba takes a leap and sees that the floor of the hall is not dangerous. It is a glass, clear light of truth, and with her perception of the ever-existing difference between appearance and reality, the Queen of Sheba comes to the end of her spiritual journey. The chapter quickly moves on to the stories of Prophet Salih and Prophet Lot, who faced serious opposition from their people. Their story contrasts with that of the Queen of Sheba, who eagerly accepted faith and realized the foolishness of idolatry. The severe opposition and the hostility faced by these 2 prophets is a commentary on the human condition. People are being warned against their thoughtless addiction to materialism and idolatry, and are invited to adopt the attitude of the Queen of Sheba, a subtle hope to the Prophet ﷺ and his small band of followers. The chapter hints to the appearance of a mysterious creature, triggering the beginning of the end of the world. Verse 82. In the name of God, the kind, the caring. Tasin. These are the verses of the Quran, a clear book, a guide and glad tidings for the believers who perform the prayer, give zakat, and believe firmly in the hereafter. As for those who don't believe in the hereafter, we made their deeds appear attractive to them, so they wander about blindly. These people will have the worst punishment, and they shall be the biggest losers in the hereafter. But you have received the Quran from the wise, all-knowing. Remember when Moses said to his wife, I've seen a fire. I will bring you some news from there, or fetch you a burning coal so you can warm yourself. When he reached there, a voice called out, Blessed is whoever is veiled by the fire, and whoever is close to it. Glory be to God, the Lord of the worlds. Moses, it is I, God, the Almighty, the Wise. So throw down your shepherd's staff. When he saw it wriggling, he turned and fled without looking back. Moses, the voice said, don't be afraid. Messengers shouldn't be afraid in my presence. Even the one who has done wrong, but then changes himself to do good, for I am forgiving, caring. Now put your hand inside your cloak, and it will come out brilliant white, but unharmed. Yet another 9 signs to show Pharaoh and his people they are brazen sinners. However, when our self-evident signs came to them, they said, this is magic, and they rejected them, and yet they were certain of their truth. This was due to their wickedness and pride. So look what happened to those who spread corruption. We gave David and Solomon knowledge and both prayed, Praise be to God, who favored us over many of his believing servants. Then Solomon succeeded David, and he said, People, we have been taught the language of birds and have been given all kinds of things, a clear sign of favor. Solomon's armies of jinn, men, and birds gathered to parade before him, and they marched until they came to the Valley of Ants, where one of the ants said, Ants, get into your anthills so that Solomon and his armies don't crush you unwittingly. Solomon smiled and laughed at her words and said, Lord, make me grateful to you for the blessings that you have given me and my father, and grant me strength to do righteous deeds to please you, and kindly include me with your righteous servants. One day, whilst looking for a missing bird, Solomon said, Why can't I see the hoopoe? He's absent. Either he brings me a valid reason for his absence, or I will punish him severely, maybe even slaughter him. The hoopoe did not stay away for long. He returned and said, I know of something that you don't, and I bring you an accurate report from Sheba. There I found a woman ruling over them, and like you, she has been given everything and has a mighty throne. I found her and her people worshiping the sun instead of God, and Satan had made their deeds attractive to them and blocked them from the true way, so they were not guided. Shouldn't they worship only God, who discloses whatever is hidden in the heavens and the earth, and who knows whatever you choose, either to conceal or to reveal? There is no God but God, the Lord of the mighty throne. Solomon said, We shall see if you are telling the truth or lying. Go with this letter of mine and make sure they receive it. Then move a little away from them and see what response they come back with. The queen said, My lords, I have received a gracious letter. It is from Solomon, and reads, In the name of God, the kind, the caring. Do not think yourselves above me, but come to me in submission. So she asked, My lords, advise me in this matter. I don't make any decision without your presence and advice. They said, We possess power and military might, but the final decision rests with you. So tell us what to do. She said, When kings enter a city, they lay waste to it and humiliate its nobility. That is their way. So I will send them a gift and wait to see what the envoys come back with. When they reached Solomon, he said to her envoys, Do you think you can increase my wealth? What God has given me is far better than what He has given you. Only the likes of you rejoice in such gifts. Go back to your people and tell them, we shall come with armies that they can't face, and we shall expel them from their city, humiliated and disgraced. Solomon asked his courtiers, who can bring me her throne before they come to me in submission? A Ifrit from the jinn said, I can bring it to you before you get up from your place. I am strong and trustworthy. Another who had knowledge of the book said, I can bring it to you in the blinking of an eye. When Solomon saw it installed before him, he said, this is by my Lord's favor to test whether I am grateful or ungrateful. Whoever is grateful for his own benefit, but whoever is ungrateful harms only himself. As my Lord is self-sufficient, generous, he said, disguise her throne so that we can see if she is guided or not. After arriving, the queen was asked, is your throne like this? She said, it looks just like it. And Solomon said, we were given prior knowledge and we submitted to God. What had previously stopped her was what she used to worship beside God, as she came from a disbelieving community. Enter the royal chamber, she was told. When she saw it, she thought it was a pool and so bared her legs to keep her robes dry. Solomon said, the chamber is paved with glass. She said, my Lord, I have wronged myself, but now I submit with Solomon to God, the Lord of the worlds. We sent to the people of Thamud their brother Salih, saying, worship God. But they split into two groups and began to argue. Salih said, my people, why are you in a rush to do evil rather than good? If you would only seek God's forgiveness, you will be shown kindness. They said, we feel uneasy about you and those with you. He said, your feeling of unease rests with God. The fact is that, as a people, you are being tested. There was a gang of 9 men in the city who would not comply but went around wreaking havoc. They said, let us swear by God to attack him and his family by night. Then tell his guardian that we were not witnesses to his family's demise and that we are telling the truth. They hatched a plot, and so we countered it, but they remained unaware. Behold, the outcome of their plot. We destroyed them all and their community. These are their houses, razed to the ground because of their wrongdoing, in that there is a sign for people who know. And we saved those who believed and were mindful of us. And remember Lot, when he said to his people, how can you commit acts of indecency with your eyes wide open? Do you approach other men with lust rather than women? You people are utterly foolish. The only response they gave, expel Lot's household from your city. They are such Puritans. So we saved him and his family except for his wife, whom we decreed would stay behind, and we pelted them with a rain of brimstone. How dreadful was the rain on those who had been forewarned. Say, praise be to God, and peace be upon his chosen servants. Is God better, or whatever they associate with him? Who is it who created the heavens and the earth and sends down rain for you from the sky, with which we have produced delightful gardens? You cannot make its trees grow. Is there another God along with God? On the contrary, they are people who have turned away from truth. Who is it who made the earth a place for you to live, made rivers to flow in it, made mountains, and set a barrier between the two seas? Is there another God along with God? No, most of them are ignorant. Who answers the distressed when they cry out to him, removes suffering and causes you to inherit the land? Is there another God beside God? How little do you reflect? Who is it who guides you through the darkness on land and sea? And who is it who sends winds heralding glad tidings of his kindness in the form of rain? Is there another God beside God? God is far exalted above anything they associate as partners with him. Who sets in motion the process of creation, then returns it to its former state, and who provides for you from the earth and sky? Is there another God beside God? Say, fetch your proof if you are telling the truth. Say, no one in the heavens or on earth has knowledge of the unseen except God, nor do they have any knowledge of when they will be resurrected. Can their knowledge comprehend the hereafter? On the contrary, they have doubts about it. In fact, they are blind to it. The disbelievers say, how can it be that when we and our forefathers have turned to dust, we will be brought back to life? We and our forefathers were promised this before. This is merely a tale of the ancient people. Say, travel on the earth and see the fate of the sinners. Do not grieve over them, messenger, nor be anxious about what they're plotting. They say, when will this promise be fulfilled if you're telling the truth? Say, it may be what you seek to hasten is already close behind you. Your Lord is most gracious towards people, but most are ungrateful. And your Lord knows whatever their hearts conceal and what they reveal. There is nothing hidden in the earth or sky which is not found in a clear book. This Quran narrates most of the disagreements of the Israelites. It is a guidance and kindness for the believers. Your Lord will decide wisely between them. He is the Almighty, the Knowing. So trust in God, for you are clearly in the right. You can no more make the deaf hear the call than you can the dead, if they turn their backs on you. Nor are you there to guide the blind away from their error. Only those will hear you who believe in our signs and submit to our will. When the judgment against them comes to pass, we shall bring forth from the earth a beast that will tell them about the people who didn't believe in our signs. And on the day when we gather from every community an army of those who denied our signs, they will march in ranks. And when they arrive before him, he will say, did you deny my signs despite not comprehending them? If not, what were you doing? And as the decree is passed against them because of their wrongdoing, they will say nothing. Haven't they seen we made the night for them to rest and the day to give them light? In that there is a sign for people who believe. And on the day that the trumpet is blown, all those in the heavens and the earth will be terrified except those whom God pleases to protect. Each of them shall come to him humbly. And you will see the mountains which you thought were fixed, floating like clouds. This is the handiwork of God, who has perfected everything. He is fully aware of what you do. Whoever brings good deeds with him shall receive even better in return, and they will be safe from the terror of that day. But anyone who comes with evil deeds will be hurled face down into the fire and asked, have you not been rewarded for what you did? I have been ordered to worship the Lord of the city, who made it sacred, and all things belong to him. And I have been ordered to be among the committed. And I have been ordered to be among the committed who recite the Quran. Thereafter, whoever is guided, it is for his own benefit. And anyone who goes astray, tell them, I am a warner. And say, praise be to God. He will show you his signs and you will recognize them. Your Lord is not unaware of what you do.